Hey, what is happening, everybody? This is episode 166 of the Segment Podcast. We are live and welcome aboard, folks. Joe Yates, can you believe it? We have the talented and powerful Chelsea Kimball in the studio tonight. Holy crap.
Crazy.
I know. I
So
remember, right? I remember flying to Michigan to see Kim, jumping off the plane, heading straight to her house and like putting it on the television. And it was like watching the runs. And then when Chelsea was lighting up, I remember us being like, go, go, go. And
yeah,
here we are today. I mean,
that's so
definitely.
good.
I think also, you know how you could vote for fan favorite or
Right.
for fan favorite. I think Chelsea, I think we voted for her a bunch of times. And then like the timer would reset and wait for the timer to count back down. Then we throw another vote in there.
Is that nice? Yeah,
It was
Nate with Tosco and I, we were out in Lake Havasu at the Jet Ski World Finals, and we had it playing in the booth there while the jet ski races were going on. There's Redbull Rampage going on in our booth.
so sick. That's
Yeah,
so sick. Yeah, this year was epic. I mean, the first time women competed in that squad of women going down in history, which is so dope, so dope. But we also are going to say what's happened to the chat. Chelsea is definitely backstage, big smiles right there. I could see her. But let's say what's up to folks. We got first one in the house here, Women's MTB Network. What's up, Mia? She says, "Hey yo." That is always good to see Mia in the house.
always.
We got Bikes, Brews, and Base Camp. What's up, Maggie out of Arkansas? What up? What up? What up, Mags? What's up? We got MTV Sheen Queen in the house with her patented caca. What's happening, Kim? Good to see you out of Michigan. I love it. I love to see everybody out there. And then also down in here, we have, I think I saw Trail Pimp just joined us. What's up, Trail Pimp? He says, yo, yo, yo. Damn, always good to see you too. And then Joey, if there's anybody in here, if there's questions, if I can't see it, make sure we hit it up. And yeah, thank you. But yeah, episode 166, Chelsea Kimball in the house. Chelsea sends it. I can't wait to get into her story. I was for sure rooting for her in her second run. And man, it's just like literally on pins and needles watching her go down the run. And then I love that she was mic'd up and we got
Right.
to hear her like you at the beginning, like get that like
Yes.
energy out and get loose and let's go type of feel. It was really good. But without further ado, Joey, what do you think? Oh wait, I'm skipping things.
Yeah, you're missing one important thing tonight.
The whole shot award. The whole
Right.
shot award.
I'm starting to think this is rigged a little bit, but we'll see.
Whole shot award for the folks that are tuning in that are new to the show. Whole shot award is the first person to make a comment at 6 p.m. Wins the whole shot. And tonight's whole shot award is actually, get this, a set of Tasco gloves by Tasco, MTB
Nice.
Apparel and Mountain Bike Company. Yes. So whoever it is, Joey, who is the whole shot award winner tonight?
All right, you may know this person.
Okay. Did she nail it?
Right there, 6 o'clock.
Congratulations, MTV Sheen Queen. You are the winner of a pair of Tasco gloves. So we'll make sure that we get in touch with you and you pick out the style that you like and the size, and we'll get those out to you. Congratulations. Wow, 6 p.m.
Nice.
whole shot award winner. That is
Nice.
awesome. The other thing too, real quick before we get Chelsea on, I know a lot of people have been talking about Greer Ranch locally, the trail system,
Oh, good
and
call.
it
Yeah.
being shut down. I did get a chance to talk to some folks at the city council as well as some of the trail builders.
I told you.
Maggie's saying rigged. And yes, they are starting to build out there, but really the first phase, November 1st, they're putting up a fence right there, just closing off that parking spot. But the trails are not affected right now, so we are good to roll out there for the folks that are tuning in from this local area. Okay, here we go. Joey Yates,
Let's do it.
Chelsea Kimball. Let's get her on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Introducing. Well, actually, no introductions needed. Chelsea Kimball. Chelsea!
Hello.
Hi.
Good to see you. I love it. I love it. You are joining us from what part of the country are you in right now?
So I'm currently in Grass Valley, California.
Welcome, West
Grass
Coast. Are you a
Valley.
West Coaster new to it, or have you always been out here?
I was born in Arizona, but I've lived in California sometimes.
Yeah.
But this is kind of a new thing that I'll be spending more time around here.
That is awesome. Grass Valley. Are you that is what? Northern California?
Yep,
Central?
Northern California. It's kind of between Sacramento and Truckee.
Oh gosh, beautiful spot.
Hmm.
Beautiful. Yeah, Truckee, you're gonna have North Star out that way.
Yep.
Oh man. And did you buy land out there, or are you what are you doing out there? Is this
Yeah. Yeah. So back in May, my dad helped me out and basically gave me a loan. So I bought 6.5 acres
holy
of a
cow.
forested hillside. So right now I'm just digging holes and cutting down trees and trying to make a flat spot to park. So I'm starting a big journey of what I'm doing with some land.
That is
Nice.
amazing. Wow, congratulations.
Thanks.
I- Is this going to be something that is going to be a rideable spot? I mean, 6 acres in that area. There's got to be some good elevation. Yeah.
Yep, that was my whole goal with buying the land. It's like pretty consistent 15 to 20 degree slope, and that's like ideal for building jumps. So
Uh,
that's the goal is to make a big jump line.
that. Oh my gosh, that is going to be awesome. MTV Machine
Mhm.
Queen right here saying dads are the best.
Yes, they are.
And then Women's MTV Network is saying we're coming up to help.
I need so much help. Come anytime.
Let's
Oh
go.
my gosh.
So the
Yeah.
the land, have you been eyeing this piece of land for a little while, and then you decided to
Um,
pull the trigger on this, or
I've been looking in this area for probably 4 or 5 years, just
okay,
because I love the trees around here, and the Sierras are just like some beautiful mountains, and then the dirt here is red clay, and it's
yes,
just so good for building jumps. So I've been looking in the area for a while, but this parcel came available like late April of this year, and I kind of jumped on it because it ended up being the perfect opportunity.
damn, that is cool. That is very cool. Is this going to be like a travel to ride location type of thing? Is what you're
Uh,
putting together, or is this going to be like a private practice spot for you and some friends, or
it'll definitely be my own training compound, but I believe that if there are jumps, people should be able to ride them. So it'll definitely
yes,
be a thing where I'll always invite my friends over, and if you're just a person that sees me posting about my jumps and wants to come ride, then send me a message and come check it out.
damn, dreamland.
Yep.
This thing's gonna sound awesome. 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 We have MTB Machine Queens here. She's saying, I love trees too. Too much. Yeah, she's actually known to hit some trees when she's riding out there.
Oh.
I thought she was hugging them.
Hugging trees. Yeah, she's hugging trees. We got Bikes, Brews, and Base Camp saying, Wahoo, Chelsea, you rock. You rock. Yes, we love it. We got Mountain Bike Q&A out of Miami tuning in right now on the podcast as well, Chelsea. We got people from all over the
Yeah,
place
Miami,
tuning.
that's far away.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ridden out there before?
I've been to Miami. I went to Ultra Music Festival years ago, but that was my only time in Miami.
Wait, what's that? Ultra Music Festival. What is
It's
that?
a big electronic music festival out there.
Oh, sick.
Yep.
Sick. That sounds fun. I was in Belgium one year and they had like this giant electric music festival going on. And it's the one big one of the year. They had so many DJs that were coming out over and over. And yeah, it was a lot of energy, a lot of wild energy. It was good. It was good.
Sounds like quite the experience.
It was, it was good. Oh, we got Canada tuning in. We got Matt Konings, manager of the bike park up there, Horseshoe Bike Park. He's saying jumps on jumps.
I
And
agree.
yes, Matt builds a lot of jumps out there for Horseshoe Bike Park. Welcome aboard, Matt. So, Chelsea, you got this this piece of land out there that you're going to be building, congratulations on that. And are you hoping to get, I mean, it's California, so in that area, is it going to snow? Is there going to be a season where you won't be able to build, or will it be open for you to build throughout?
So I'm going off of what all my neighbors are saying, and they're saying that January and February are normally the coldest and wettest months. And they say that some years we get like a foot of snow, and then some years we get like 5 feet of snow. So it's like really up in the air as to if I'll be able to stay here all winter, or yeah, see if I get snowed out. We'll find out.
Hopefully not. Hopefully you'll be able to get some wet ground so you can just build on that red clay dirt.
Yep, I need like 6 inches of snow so it soaks in nicely, but then I can still
Okay.
shovel it out of the way and work with wet dirt because I don't have water or anything. So it's kind of
Oh,
tough.
got it. Got it. Yes, that would be good. And you're definitely in the area where you can get that Tahoe Truckee area there. Ah, so pretty. It's so pretty. Looks like we have a big fan in the audience. Big Nash says, "Chelsea, kiss me." So, when it comes to your writing, obviously, big fan over here. My girlfriend and I were watching, is like when you were dropping, we were watching the runs. But take us back to before this whole like Red Bull, before making history with being one of the first female squads to compete in Red Bull Rampage. Where did this all start for you? When did you get on the bike?
Yeah, let's see. My first ever mountain bike ride was probably in like 2012. My friend had just gotten a new bike, so she let me use her old bike, which is like a silver Trek hardtail. And we pedaled up in Big Bear, California, and I was suffering. I had always gone to the rock climbing spot, like driving up the forest road, and seen people on mountain bikes, and I was like, why the heck would you ever want to do that? Just thinking that they're crazy. And the next thing you know, here I am pedaling up a hill on a mountain bike. Um,
Wow.
but yeah, it was really fun right away, but I wasn't fully addicted in the beginning. I remember my friend CJ always like talked about mountain bikes nonstop, and I was just like, "Oh, please, can we talk about something else?" But here I am now. All I talk about is mountain bikes.
And how long ago was this? Was this recent, or was this like, were you like really young when you started mountain biking, or did you
Yeah,
pick it up later?
I think that first ride was in 2012, and then
Oh,
maybe
wow.
2013 I got a bike, and then yeah, just started riding more and more over time. Stopped climbing as much, and just like mountain biking ended up taking over my life. I always
Yes.
say in 2017 was kind of the big turning point uh, for just like committing to mountain biking, because I think in 2016, I think I maybe it was 2015, but I attempted to climb El Capitan with my friend Jared, like a big wall. It's like a 3,000-foot ascent where you sleep on the side of the cliff
Good
and everything.
Lord.
And
Wow.
that ended up kind of being my last big climbing trip, I think. And then after that, yeah, just started racing a whole bunch, and it took over my life.
Wow.
Wow, wow. That's insane. That's insane. So El Cap, that's in Yosemite, right? You're
Hmm.
climbing up that straight vertical wall.
Yep.
And I know sometimes people like, it's crazy. People camp on the side of the cliff. Did
Yep.
you do that too?
Yeah, we didn't
What?
make it all the way up because my friend ended up injuring his elbow and we had to bail.
Oh,
But the first night, or let's see, the second night we slept on a ledge, and then the third night we were on what's called a portaledge. It's like basically an aluminum frame that has these straps that you anchor into the wall, and you're just there hanging off the side of the cliff, uh, sleeping.
just
You leave
hanging.
just hanging, but you leave like a strap pretty much tied around your waist or your foot or something, just in case you wake up and fall off, then you'd at least have something to catch you.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it's
Oh
pretty
my
crazy.
God. Has anybody ever done that? Do people?
I don't know. I hope not, because
I
that would
hope
be
not.
such a rude awakening, just like dangling by your foot on the side of the cliff.
Right? That is crazy. Yeah, I remember looking at the wall for the folks that have been there to Yosemite and looking up at El Cap, and that there's like the heart in the wall, right? There's like a spot that looks like a heart. It's carved out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a huge climb. So you
Mhm.
go from that passion to mountain biking. Mountain biking takes over. Do you find, and or maybe this is a question, were you ever afraid of heights because of the rock climbing?
Um, hmm. I don't think so. Uh, oh, rock climbing, you're roped in. There's also like bouldering where you're going up smaller cliffs without a rope, but I was never really into that because I am afraid of falling. But rock climbing, I was always roped up, so if I fell, the rope would catch me. So yeah, still in Virgin and other places when I'm like hiking my bike up this 15-foot tall, pretty much cliff. You're just like stepping on the foothold and trying to reach your bike up and set it up on top of the ledge, and it is really scary, especially if you're by yourself. You're like, well,
Yeah.
if I slip right here, there's nobody around that's gonna help me.
No one, yeah, right? You're solo, and hopefully you have self-service.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Not
Damn,
much.
Chelsea. That's crazy. Mountain Bike Q&A says, I would have tapped out with the climbing.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. I like it.
That is crazy. Okay, so you start mountain biking. You did mention Big Bear. Did you live in Big Bear for a little while?
Yeah, I lived in Big Bear for a little over a year, I think. Um,
Nice.
maybe it was like 2 years. I don't know. It's been a while ago, so all
Yeah.
the years are starting to blend together. But yeah, I lived
Yeah.
there for a while, and it was a pretty cool time to be there because that's when Snow Summit Mountain Bike Park reopened. Because back in
Oh,
the old days, I think the 90s, like they had World Cup races there. It was a major spot for downhill mountain biking. But then I think a few accidents happened and the downhill park was shut down for many years.
oh, wow.
And then I just happened to be there and start mountain biking the first year that they reopened the bike park, and it was pretty cool. They only had like one or two trails, but I got to ride a chairlift up, so that was nice.
That's always nice, right? Lift rides are some of the best rides. Back then, Chelsea, did they have, was it, do you remember what it was? Was it like Turtle, or did they just like open up with like Party
No,
Wave to West Ridge, or
no, they didn't have West. Did they? It was definitely like, man, I can't even remember the names of the trails, but there was two.
yeah.
There was pretty much like no, I guess there was a green trail that was also the hiking trail that people could
Okay.
ride uphill. So it was like, I think I rode it maybe one time. And then there was the main downhill trail that's still there. I can't remember the name of that. Um,
Yeah.
and then I guess I maybe they did have Westridge, but it was a lot different from what I can remember. It's before they had Gravity Logic go in there and build all those jumps.
Okay.
Um, and at that time, I definitely couldn't jump anyways. I remember being there, and Westridge was just like a bunch of turns.
Oh,
It wasn't a bunch of jumps. It was a bunch of turns. Maybe they had like one or two jumps. And I remember down like the main ski run, the trail crossed it, and there were pavers going down this steep hill
holy
uh,
crap.
that like goes onto the ski run. And by steep hill, I just mean like it was like a 20-foot long steep section, but I would walk my bike down it because I was
Wow.
absolutely terrified of rolling over these like pavers. It was pretty
Wow.
funny.
That
But
seems so
everybody's
crazy.
there.
Right.
Everybody does it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I still am there. I still walk a lot of stuff. But it seems crazy to like watch you ride and then to know that yeah, you were at one point there, but you started like in 2012, so you had a really massive growth in your abilities and skill sets. Do you attribute that to friends like CJ, or was this something that you've always been like really competitive internally that allowed you to just things a little bit quicker than normal, like
I
other
think it
people
is.
potentially?
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I did grow up like riding quads and stuff, so at least I had some experience with speed on rough terrain. Like a quad is not like a dirt bike. You don't lean, and cornering is totally different. So I feel like the actual riding skills didn't cross over, but being comfortable at speed going through varied terrain, I think helped a lot. And then I did have a lot of awesome people to ride with. CJ, my friend Bobby. Um, right when I started riding, I had a boyfriend named Ian that was a professional downhill racer.
Oh,
And so I
damn.
just had a lot of like awesome people to ride with that were super talented and super nice and just rode all the time. And then the last thing I think that helped me a lot is just that I live in a van. So that means I'm not working a full time job year round. So basically, I just had a lot of time to ride. And I think that that mostly is what helped me the most, just because, yeah, I had more time. At that point in my life, I think I did work probably 6 months out of the year in a full time job and then take like 6 months off. But it's still more free time than most of the population gets, I think.
Got it. Got it. Dang, I was looking for a cheat code in there. Sounds like you just, no matter what, you got to put in the time and the hard work to get there.
Yeah, I think so. If you find a cheat code, let me know because there's more I want to learn.
Yes, I remember it was AB, left, right, select, start
Yeah.
back in the day on the Nintendo, but that hasn't really applied anywhere else.
Oh man, I just started going to MMA classes. I just thought it'd be fun to learn something new. And being a beginner is hard. They're trying to tell me what punches to do, like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I'm like, ah, like just doing the wrong hands all over the place. But it's all
Right?
a process. Everyone starts as a beginner.
That's so true. Yeah, and Women's MTB Network says it's all about the hard work, and then MTB Sheen Queen is saying practice makes progress. Yes, this is
100%.
true. Yeah, I get confused too. I mean, I've been doing martial arts for a while, but I still get confused. Like, is one still a jab, two is a right cross, three is a
Yep.
hook, and four is the uppercut? Is that still it?
No, you got left hook, right hook, and then left uppercut, right uppercut.
Oh man, okay, so 5 and 6. Jeez Louise. Yeah, I would have been
I just
messing it
did
up
some
already.
studying last night, so so it's fresh.
Honestly, though, I think that doing things for your mind that are different and pushing yourself really helps out a lot. And
Hmm.
I remember, one year I did some boxing and just being able to get my hands out quick and getting that like that dexterity helped out on the bike too, because whatever position I was falling in, I'd be able to get my hands out real fast.
Speed, yeah, it's real. Shoot, those boxers and MMA fighters move so fast. It's incredible.
It's crazy, right? And the different angles that they're in,
Hmm.
it's insane. So are you also learning like leg kicks and everything else as well?
Yeah, so I've only gone, let's see, to 3 different classes, but yeah, I want to learn it all. But
So
it's kind of expensive, so we'll see how much I can afford.
yeah, that's pretty awesome though. I mean, this is like rock climbing, mountain biking to the elite levels, and then MMA. This is all kind of goes together, Chelsea.
uh, I like trying new things. So
It's awesome. So speaking of new, you're mountain biking, you're competitive in it. At what point did you turn pro?
um I mean, I guess you could question what is the definition of being a professional rider? Is it
True.
racing in the professional category? Is it getting product contracts, or is it getting a salary? Like, I'm guessing that there are multiple definitions. Um, let's see. I think I got my first product sponsorship in 2000. Uh, maybe 16. I
Okay.
think maybe
Wow.
2016. And it was a fly racing. I got apparel and helmets, not all free, but a discount on them. And
Yeah.
then I think my first I never got any like budget contracts. I never got like a travel budget from any company. It was just my first like paid contract where I got money was with Specialized in 2019 or 20,
Wow.
2020, I think.
Okay. Like
Yep.
right when the pandemic was cracking in.
Yep. Yep.
Wow. Wow.
So yeah, I'm on my third year of like a paid sponsorship contract. But I think I
Sick.
started racing in the professional category in 2017.
Damn. So you were a racer turned free rider, or were you already free riding and you're like, you know what, let's just do some races?
I was definitely more of a downhill rider. I didn't really learn to jump until that year, 2017, where I had
Stop it.
access to downhill parks and just like could lap the jump trails. Before that, like yeah, maybe I could make it over a jump, but I didn't really know what I was doing. I
Wow.
remember I went to like the dirt jumps in Moab with my friend CJ. We just like did a trip to Moab. We went to the dirt jumps on I think I was just on my mountain bike and maybe she had a dirt jumper and we were trying to hit the easiest line there and we weren't clearing them and we were just like, oh, these jumps, it's got to be the jumps. The jumps are bad. But no, we just didn't know how to jump.
It's gotta be the jumps. Jumps are Well, that's pretty fast progression though, starting to jump later and then now watching you like literally send it off big drops at Rampage. Was there I mean, there's definitely no cheat code to the jumps, right? You got to put the time in, like you're saying, putting laps in. Did you find that a certain bike, like some people will get a dirt jumper and they find that helps them, or was it just time in and asking a bunch of questions?
Yeah, I actually got a BMX bike maybe in 2016. It was
Okay.
because at that time I was a ski instructor, so I lived in Summit County, Colorado. And if anybody's
Oh,
ever been through there, they might have heard of the Frisco dirt jumps. And since I live there, I just like went and hung out there a lot of summer evenings, and it was a whole crew of BMX riders there. And I was friends with all of them, but I was just on my at that time a 2001 Foes LTS, trying to hit these dirt jumps, and they've like hanging around all these BMXers. I was like, well, I guess I need to get a BMX bike. So I asked one of my friends, told me what to order, and I got a kink. Can't remember the model, but a kink BMX bike. And then I just started riding the dirt jumps and going to all the different skate parks with them. And I think that helped a ton.
Interesting. I always thought maybe that would be the case because I know in that realm as well, you pick up a lot of tricks too, right? Like T-bogs and suies and all the stuff is kind of like in that world.
Yeah, I never got that good on the BMX bike. I guess I did backflip it, but I always felt really awkward on bigger jumps, so I never got any tricks on the BMX other than a backflip.
Holy crap. Just the backflip. We'll just take the backflip. Okay, backflip. Did you learn that into a foam pit or do you jump that into mulch? How did you do that one?
Yeah, I did. At that time in Colorado, I think the indoor park was called Evolve.
Okay.
It was in Denver, and that's where I did my first backflips into the foam pit. Yeah.
Damn.
The first day, it took me quite a few tries, but there were some other people there that were kind of giving me pointers and helping me out a bit. But yeah, learned it into a foam pit in Denver, Colorado.
That's insane. Wow. Yeah, right? Was it okay? So we've talked to a few people on the show about backflips, and it sounds like the critical scary part is like when you first pull, you are sitting kind of back in your seat. It's not like where you're just like pulling up and just pulling up, right? You're kind of like sitting back and pulling. And then when you're upside down and you're blind, and that spot where your brain says bail out, is that the spot where you need to hold on just a second longer? At least that's what we've been told. What's the experience been for you?
To me, I have to be fully committed before I drop in. Oh. Like if I'm up at the drop in and I'm not 100% committed, then either it doesn't go well or I just don't do it.
Okay.
Now for like the actual physical steps of doing the backflip, I would say just like looking the entire time. Like as you go off the lip, your eyes are back, like your head's tipped back, looking for the landing.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as commitment, I'd say commit before you even drop in.
Ooh. Ooh. Joey, this is something we have to learn.
I'm gonna try it on a jet ski first.
Oh, that sounds way harder.
A lot softer though.
It's softer. That jet ski is not softer.
It's a big
The water
machine. We got a question coming in from the chats for you, Chelsea. It is Maggie in Arkansas. She says, what was a pivotal moment for you, Chelsea, where you sensed something big and were like, oh yeah, this is going to be more than a hobby? Yeah, that's a good question.
Okay, that is a good question. So it was actually a jump that I had one of the hardest crashes of my life on.
Oh
Yep.
no.
Yep, my first trip to Virgin in 2017. I went out there. I had never been there before. I went out and met my friend Ryan and his friend DJ. We just went there for a weekend. And I drove from Colorado. They drove from California. And this is before I spent time at downhill parks learning to jump. And we were at these kind of classic jumps at the original Rampage site called the Bizette jumps.
Okay.
And the jump I was like wanting to hit was a step up. The lip is probably a little over 6 feet high, and maybe it's a 13 or 14-foot gap. I'd never hit anything even near that size before, but everybody else was hitting it, and I was like, okay, I got this. And I dropped in and like pumped when you should not pump for this jump. You go off this like small drop, and then I was pumping. I was just like, oh, I'm hitting this jump.
Yeah, Mach 5.
Mach 5. No jumping skills, and I like got backseat going up the lip. I don't think I buzzed my butt on the tire, but I just immediately launched OTB, flying through the air like I'm just a diver, and then splat, stomach and face on the ground. So hard.
Oh no.
So hard. And I landed like 3 or 4 bike lengths past where I should land, and I wasn't on the bike. It was just my body on the dirt. And I like partially punctured my lung.
Oh geez.
But it wasn't bad. Like my friends took me to the hospital, but they were all checking me in, and I'm like, I don't have health insurance. And so I was like messaging my friend Derek that was an EMT. You know, like, Derek, what should I do? How bad is this? And then I ended up just walking out because I couldn't afford an ER bill at the time.
Oh man.
But I stopped spitting up blood. It was all good.
A minor flesh wound.
For some reason, at that point, I was hooked on the jumps, I think.
Oh my gosh, Chelsea, we're like, you take 10 people, 9 of them would have walked away and been like, forget this sport.
I know. I think I was just like determined to go back and hit that jump like with actual jump skills.
Yeah, you literally hucked it to flat. Like literally hucked it to flat.
Yep.
Holy crap. So that was, there it is. Maggie says, that's insane. I love it. Spoken like a true mountain biker. Oh my gosh. When you were laying there, was it that moment where, like, did it happen in that moment, or did it kind of sink in a little bit later where you were like, you know what, I'm going back there?
No, it was definitely after, because in the moment I was like doing that whole like thing where you can't breathe and you're making this involuntary sound. Like it's pretty hard slam. And then I think it was like after we left the hospital, and I actually ended up riding later that day. I was just
my
like,
gosh, Chelsea.
I think like after the hospital, maybe the ride home is when the wheels started turning again.
Holy cow, that's insane. That's insane. Exactly like she said. That's insane. I love it. That's great. Okay, so you're progressing along, you're riding, and we're watching, formation, we're seeing Red Bull Rampage, and you get an invite to this. Where were you when you got the invite, and what did that feel like?
So I got the invite, like I was an alternate at first. When I got news that I was an alternate, I was up in Whistler, going to see my friend CJ right before she left back to Germany. And I got the email, or actually, Cami messaged me. She's like, "Oh, have you checked your email yet?" And I was like, "No." Check my email. I'm like, "Oh, I didn't get anything." Cami's like, "Oh, I got." She's like, "I got in." I'm like, awesome. I hope I do
Nice.
too. Then a few
Yes.
minutes later, I get the email, and I'm second alternate. And I didn't cry, but I was pretty devastated. Like,
Mm,
just totally sunk.
Mm.
um, yep, it was. I wanted to be in so bad. So yeah, it was pretty devastating. Second alternate is like still, yeah, there's an opportunity that you could be in, but it's second alternate.
right.
um, so
Oh
yeah,
man,
that was a whole emotional roller coaster.
I
And
bet.
then um, and then let's see, when I actually got the call that I was in, I was here at my property in September, and uh, let's see, I think the girls had just gotten off a call with Todd Barber, and I get a call from Casey. Like, why is Casey calling me? And she told me that I was in. It was
So sick.
so crazy.
That is awesome. What changed from the original email to that phone call? Because your mind was probably set like, okay, second alternate, going back to the property, gonna do some work, and then we'll see how it goes. But what was there a shift somewhere? Did they
Let's
decide like,
So
yeah,
I like after I got the email that I was second alternate, I tried to keep going with my plans and like my training as I was doing since we heard the news of Rampage. Because um, from getting the news that there was Rampage, I had just like made a list of all the things that I wanted to practice, and like different goals that I wanted to hit like before the competition time, just to try to be ready. And being second alternate, I was like, well, it is possible, so I'm just gonna continue my plans as if I'm going to be in Rampage, just in case. Because it was just like constantly questioning myself. Okay, is this the best thing I can do to be ready for Rampage if I do get in? Um,
nice.
and of course, it was a new experience for me, new experience for Cami and Hannah that I was hanging out with a whole bunch. So we all like talked about it and like tried to figure out what was best to do for training. Um, so yeah, I feel like I didn't change my plans that much as being an alternate until I
Nice.
went to my property. I wasn't planning
Okay.
on going back there, but I was feeling like I had gone to Kamloops quite a few times, just like practicing backflips and stuff. And then I went to my friend Caitlin's event at Legacy Bike Park in Montana. And that's where I kind of realized that I was feeling like kind of burnout, just not having as much fun as I should be having riding my
Mm,
bike with a bunch of friends.
yeah.
So yeah, after Montana, I decided to just like take a little break. A week or so off the bike wasn't gonna hurt me. So yeah, just came down here to California and tried to figure out what to do with my property, and took a little bit of like a week off the bike, and it
Nice.
helped a ton. Um, at the end of the week, I was definitely like itching to ride again, and had a little bit of a reset mindset and everything. So it worked.
That's awesome. That's such a cool feeling when you get that reset because yeah, there's a lot of times when you start to feel burned out, like you feel like there's obligations, you feel like you want to film something, you just always feel like there's something other than just riding on the bike and enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get that reset, when you get off the bike, get that reset and you get that itch. That itch comes back pretty quick. So that's such a rad feeling. So you get the call that you're making history by being in, and when it was, I think it was Casey called you, when you got that call, was it like, are you kidding me? Or was it like, oh, hell yeah, let's go? Like, where was your mind at that moment?
I think I was like, are you serious? Like a little bit in disbelief, and then just like, yeah, let's go. I was leaving a few days later to the East Coast to go to Highland Mountain Bike Park and another event out there called Thunderstruck. And I was just like, well, this is perfect. Like, Highland's such a great place for more training. They have an indoor zone and just like different jumps and drops. And it's just like great place to keep getting ready.
Yeah, yeah, damn. And then had you been to that site before at Rampage
No,
or okay.
no, nobody had been there. It was a new site.
Oh
So
wow.
like I had driven past because the 2019 Rampage site, so the site that the men are at this year, I've been there multiple times riding, and then there's another jump just past it that's just like a jump by itself, and I had ridden there, but out in Virgin, if you're driving past the hillside full of ridges, like you look up at it, but you're not looking at it as a Rampage site. So
Wow.
yeah, I'd been in the area, but had never seen the site.
What was that like? Like the first time that you pulled up and looked at the site, were your eyes like automatically looking for lines where you and CJ were gonna build, or was it like this is the site? What was how did that
No,
feel?
definitely looking up at lines like every moment I could.
Wow.
So they did like for the Rampage email chain and everything, they did send us like a photo, maybe taken from a helicopter or drone or something, that
Okay.
showed us the boundaries of the site. It's kind of similar to a satellite image where you can't really see much. It's just like a photo of a hillside. But of course, like I'm trying to zoom in and scour, like, oh, well, maybe I could do something there and do something there. But you can only do so much from that kind of image. So
Yeah.
when we got there with our diggers and like all the ladies there to do the course walk and go check out lines, it was just like so exciting. I was so excited to find a line.
Damn. Where there we go. There's another differentiator where Joey, where most people would look at that and go, this is the site. This is a bunch of cliffs. Chelsea's like, hell yeah, I see lines.
Yeah.
So I know the GoPro effect is real, but was there anything that could prepare you for how steep and gnarly that terrain was when you're out there?
um, I mean, just other riding in Virgin. That venue is very steep, uh, but so are a lot of things in Virgin. It's just like uh, Cami and I were riding together quite a bit right before the event, just doing shuttle laps on these ridges called King Kong and All Natural,
Whew.
just so we didn't have to hike up, which was a big bonus. And then these ridges are very steep. They have multiple features that are pretty intimidating and technical. So I think just riding stuff like that and trying to get comfy on it helped a lot.
Yeah.
But as far as like when you go out to Virgin and ride, generally you're not going to ride a Rampage line. Like maybe you go and hit a drop and you go and hit a jump, but nobody or not many people go out there and want to go ride a full top to bottom of a Rampage line. It's just a lot to handle.
Yeah, my goodness, definitely so. And when you are looking at when you're at the location, you're looking at the lines in your mind, like, hey, that's a spot, that's a spot. For the folks at home that are watching, it's like you guys are building those lines, right? And did they give you X amount of days? And do they give you water for all that stuff? How does that whole thing look? Because they don't really cover too much of that. It just looks like there they are, they're on TV, and there's like these lines, and apparently they built them. And back
Yeah.
to you in the studio.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. They have a really impressive system for watering. So if you think about any desert mountain out there, like there's no water anywhere, but it's like magic. So for Rampage, they down the middle of the venue, at least for our women's venue, they have a water line with spigots at different points going down the mountain. So we had to buy hoses because this center line, you have to go attach your hose to the spigot and string it across to water whatever feature you're trying to build. So it's all gravity fed.
Wow.
And it's incredible. Imagine being in the middle of the desert when it's 100 degrees and then you just magically have a hose with water. It's like
Wow.
it's the most
How?
amazing thing.
How in
Yeah,
the world?
it wouldn't. What we do, we meaning like all of the riders, both men and women, like would not be possible without the water. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Rampage is getting like slope style, these landings are huge, it's just a bunch of jumps and tricks, but the only way we can go that big is because of the water. And like we have to make the landings that long, because if we hit a jump or drop that big without that long of a landing, it would just be incredibly dangerous.
Right.
So it may look super, look from afar like it's super smooth and manicured, but it's only because if it's not, then the risk of horrible injury is really high.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I even saw kind of like fast forward real quick to when you were hiking down to get your bike. And I noticed that on the landing pad, like you just didn't cross right over. I noticed you walked down as far as you could on the landing. At one point, you were going to cut in to get your bike, but decided to go further down. And I'm guessing that was like because you didn't want to put tracks in the landing to danger the other riders when they're landing on the pad. Like that's how critical those things are,
Yep,
is what it seemed
definitely.
like. Yeah.
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 If any of the girls did their second run and went through there, I would want to have like put in a footprint or something that messed them up and like hurt their run. None of them ended up doing a second run, but still, it's like I feel like it's good to watch out for stuff like that.
Yeah.
I guess talking a little bit more about the building would be
Yes.
pretty cool, because when we go out there, like you're just looking at a mountainside. It's so difficult to see and picture what you want to build. There is definitely an art to it, and it's something that you can get really good at. But I would say like never building something from scratch out there in Virgin and then going and trying to build your first thing there's a major learning curve, because
Wow.
yeah, just picture like a cliff with a bunch of bushes, and then you're supposed to be able to visualize like where the takeoff is and where the landing is, and and just being able to picture it is one thing, and then you have to figure out in what order of steps you need to take to actually build it, because making a mistake and like taking dirt from here instead of there can add hours and hours onto your dig time. Uh,
Wow.
so it's like it's definitely a huge learning curve. Um, Even something like packing a landing. So a lot of the methods that people use out there, like you want the upper part of the landing to be really packed, so that when you land, like ideally your tire doesn't really even make a track in the landing. You just want to land solid and roll down without like sticking. I don't know if anybody's ever uh, gone on something soft and then that's like when your front wheel just kind of sinks in and you get
Yeah, I
launched
get that.
forward.
Right?
So you don't want that to happen. So you want the upper part to be super, super packed. But the lower part, you want to leave kind of loose. As you go down a little further, you pack a little less and a little less. And then by the time you're at the bottom of the landing, you don't even really want to pack it. You just want to water it. Because if you do crash, you don't want the bottom to be rock hard.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
and then also for like traction, if you, because a lot of drops out there will have a turn or something after, where if it's super super hard, then it's easier to slide out, or if it's a little bit softer, then maybe you'll dig in more and like really get traction for a turn. So it's just little things like that that can help a ton.
Wow. Wow. And these are steep. I mean, the hillside is really steep. Are you guys roped in as you're working on them, or
They do give us that option. So
Oh
how it
gosh.
goes, like at least for us, Michelle Parker was out there walking around, like always asking different riders and their diggers if they needed help. And then we also had like phone numbers of different parts of the Rampage crew that we could ask if we needed like different water or anything. And basically, we had to put in the call. What did they call it? High angle support. So
High ankle
you ask
support.
for high angle support, and then a few hours later, whenever they can, a guy comes up with a big backpack and rope and these big spikes, and they hammer these big long spikes into the ground, and they tie the rope around it, give you a harness,
Whoa.
and yeah, you're anchored in. You lower yourself over the side, and it makes packing and chipping away at stuff like possible when it wouldn't otherwise be possible.
Wow, that's insane. And then here comes your rock climbing skills, like right at home.
Yep, yep.
And then, okay, so when you're building the lines, how many people are in your crew? Does each team have a maximum amount of people? And how do you even choose who's going to be on that team?
So it's different between the men and the women. At least this year, I don't know if they'll continue it in the future. Men get each rider gets 2 diggers and then a media crew. For the women, we got 3 diggers and a media crew, and I chose my diggers because just like my history and experience with them. CJ had dug with me both years I was in formation, and she's also known me the longest, so she knows my riding style. And to be fair, like a girl's opinion can sometimes mean a little bit more to me than a guy's, just because I think we do go through different stuff mentally. So having another
Mhm.
girl in the crew was pretty important for me. And then my other diggers, Ryan and Eric, uh, like I've ridden with Ryan probably the second most out of anybody else. And he also knows my riding style. He's got a lot of experience, even digging at Rampage. He dug for Bienve. Um, he's dug a few different years at Rampage, so he's got a lot of experience.
Is this
Um,
Ryan Rodriguez by
yep,
chance?
yep.
Oh yeah, propane. Okay, sweet. Yeah, dude's awesome. Okay, cool.
And then my friend Eric, just like another awesome rider. He's built a lot in Virgin, so he's got great experience. Those were like my 3 ideal diggers. I was so excited, but the day before we were supposed to start digging, or the day before the course walk, Ryan over rotated a backflip
Oh
and
no.
slammed really hard.
Oh
Um,
no.
he's actually still dealing with the injury. He never like
Oh,
went to the hospital and or got himself looked at, but he's still in a lot of pain, can't ride his
oh
bike.
man.
So it was like the day before Rampage is starting, and I'm like, I've lost a digger.
Oh
It was definitely
no.
pretty stressful because now like my really good friend is injured and I need another digger.
Right.
um,
So
yeah.
how does that work? Does Red Bull allow you to substitute out a new digger for a situation like that, or are you just
It
down one?
hadn't started yet. It's a like
Okay.
you don't really have to choose your diggers weeks ahead of time or anything.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but so let's see. Yeah, the night before course walk is when this happened, and Ryan was up late, like brainstorming with me, because after we rode, we didn't even get back to the house until like 9 o'clock. So
Wow.
then he's brainstorming with me who could dig and who would be a good candidate. And we both thought of Will White. He's like I think he competed in Rampage like 4 different times, tons of experience out in Virgin, and yeah. So we were like messaging with Will. He lived in Southern California. He was supposed to work. Um, but yeah, it was through a whole turn of events. Will ended up leaving, leaving the next day. No, maybe he left late the next day. Basically, he couldn't make it to the course walk. So we asked Todd if it would be okay if Ryan did the course walk with us, but we had a different digger because Ryan could walk around. He just couldn't use his upper body for anything.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, poor guy.
Yep. So yeah, Will made the drive last minute, made it
Damn.
out, and it ended up working out really well. Will was
Holy
a
cow.
great option.
Another curveball.
Yeah.
Jeez, my goodness. Okay, so you create your line. And how was it going down that line the first time, top to bottom in practice? Do you remember that feeling of what it was like?
Just the first time that I rolled through, or the first time I did a top to bottom?
Yeah, both. Yeah, roll through and then the top to bottom, putting it
Let's
all
see.
together.
So my first time rolling through was the first day, the first practice day. So we got 3 days to practice, and that first day, I just took it easy. I didn't put any pressure on myself to hit the features. I just wanted to start at the top, ride all the sections in between. Like if I felt like hitting a feature, I would. If not, then I would just roll down the landing or something. So yeah, that's what I did. I rode the top section, the drop in to the takeoff of the first drop, did a few run-ins just to try to see what it felt like. And at that point is when I realized, like, there's no way that I'm going to hit the first drop as is. So the first drop was a flat drop that was 40 feet takeoff to landing. It was massive. And it's kind of a double drop. So you're taking off, massive drop to landing that's probably 30 feet long, to another drop, and then little more landing, and then hard right-hand turn. And yep, I did roll into the drop. I rolled down the landing, and then I'm like, there's no way that I can control my speed upon landing a 40-foot drop with that steep of a landing. So my diggers got to work and worked their butts off that whole first practice day, extending the landing up 20 feet. So we made the drop way smaller.
Whoa, that's a lot of dirt.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, that's a big change. So you roll that, you make that change, and then you start working your way down the mountain some more. Were there any more things like that, or was the rest of the line feeling pretty good?
I mean, the let's see, the step up after my first drop, I did a right-hander, left-hander, and then I had to step up out of the wash. That jump was super fun. And then I had a section just down the center ridge to then the double drop. So the first time I went around the upper drop, and then I just wanted to work on hitting the lower drop of that like middle double drop. And the first time I hit the drop, I landed a little bit deep, and then like couldn't, because there's another turn. It's like let's see, 40 feet of landing before a right-hand turn that is like, there's no berm. It was just kind of like fading down a bank.
Good Lord.
I blew right through the turn, ended up like hitting a bush and crashing like pretty hard, actually.
Jeez, Chelsea. I need some water. This is like, my hands are sweaty.
It was having that be the first time that I hit that drop, I was pretty bummed, to say the least.
Okay.
Just because, like, of course you want things to go well, especially the first hit.
Yeah.
Then through some convincing, I convinced myself to hit it again, and just like go a little slower so I can land right at the top, try to land as smooth as possible. And I landed smooth, but then going through the turn, I still couldn't slow down enough. I got a little bit outside in some small dirt, hit a bush, and then launched me almost over the cliff.
Good God. Good God.
And
my hands are sweaty.
Yeah, I was.
Right? Johnny says she's just next level.
I was pretty shaken up, to say the least. Like, because that was supposed to be the easy drop right before the big drop at the end. And I just hit it twice, and I crashed twice, and I'm just like, well, what do I do?
Yeah, what do you do?
So I stood up there for a while, like looking at different options. Like, could I change the drop? Could I change the run out of the drop? Like, so the options were make the drop smaller, so take off of the lower level of the mesa, or change the turn after to where I go straight for a little bit longer and then have like a big turn and kind of go back over. And I debated for hours. What do I do? What do I change? How do I do it?
Right.
Got lots of different opinions, and I ended up going with the option to go off, don't change the turn, go off the lower level of the mesa. So it went from like a 25-foot drop to a 10-foot drop. Like
Okay.
huge difference.
That helped with the speed as far as like the landing and prepping for the turn. That cut off some of the speed.
Yep. That was the idea, but of course I don't know, because
Right.
I have to build
Do
it.
Right.
Yep. So yeah, the rest of that day I didn't ride anymore, and I just worked on the drop. Oh, I guess that's another thing. When I was hitting that drop, all of my diggers were up at my first drop, uh, by like digging hard on the landing of the first drop. So I'm there. Of course, I'm not by myself. It's a big event. There's people everywhere, but I'm
Right.
the only person of my crew there. So I'm riding by myself. I have nobody to help me with speed judgment, like nobody to like
my
talk about
God.
anything with. And this is right after Cami crashed.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I'm just like so stressed out, like feeling really bummed about the crashes, like my head is just going in circles, like, oh, what do I do? What's the good option? Like, I need help. But all my diggers were working hard up top, so I couldn't
They're
ask
up
them to come
there.
down. It was a really stressful first day of practice.
Yeah, that sounds stressful. Yeah, because you couldn't just like talk with them and say like, "Hey, should we just lower this thing a little more, or do we make this a little bit longer so I could bleed off more speed?" You kind of had
Yep.
to like take it all in because nobody else from your crew can actually see it.
Yep.
Damn,
Yep.
another crazy curveball.
Yep. Yep. And then I guess another thing to add to it, I had like, even just like basically by the end of that first day, I was like, wow, my bike feels like I can't control speed. Or like I feel like I can't control speed on my bike. So I was like talking with my crew at the end of the day, like at our house, like what can I do? Like, can I change my suspension, tire pressure? And then I think it was Eric brought up the idea, like maybe I switch bikes.
What?
So I was writing my status all year in preparation for Rampage. All the time spent on the status because I was so sure that's what I wanted to ride. And then the last minute, I pulled my demo out of my van, and I was like, well, if this gives me more brake control, then I'm gonna be more comfortable. If I can slow down when I want to slow down, then it's the right bike. So
Yeah.
yeah, pulled the demo out of my van the night before. I hadn't
Oh
ridden it
my.
since Darkfest
Oh
in
my god.
February,
Oh my god.
and yeah, proceeded to start the next day on my demo.
And damn, first of all, wow. And second of all, god damn. And then third of all, did you feel it right away? Like when you were braking, did you feel like you had better brake power? Was the bike lighter because
So
of that, or how?
I felt like as soon as the first test, really, like I went up to the top again and did the upper section. That kind of felt the same from the start gate to the first drop. But then I went down to the top of the landing of the first drop and I rolled down it, and it was a night and day difference. Like I don't know
Oh,
what it is
nice.
about the demo, but
Yeah.
I felt like I had way more brake control.
Nice.
So immediately it was like switch, like okay, I can be more confident in my ability to slow down on this bike.
Damn. Wow. Wow, that seems so crazy and like
Yep.
not a gamble, but like just like really exhausting all your options to try to figure out what's the biggest need at that moment was to be able to control the speed of the bike.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, it did it for you. So back up goes the confidence, right? And
Yep.
then were you able to, obviously that bike was the one that we all saw on TV with you. That's the one, right?
Yep. Yep. The pink one.
Damn, that is cool. Okay, so then you run a top to bottom before
So
the
the
actual event.
the first top to bottom I did was the morning of the competition.
Holy
Um,
crap.
but it's actually pretty common for
Is it?
Rampage. Like,
Okay.
it's pretty common for riders to not do a top to bottom before their actual competition run. Like, most
Whoa.
of the men, like, it's the process a lot of times is riding each feature and the sections in between. So maybe you don't, just partially because it's really hard to hike back up. It takes a
Like,
really long time. And like a lot of times you can't go up right where the drop is. You have to go way around. So it's just really time consuming
oh,
and it
yeah.
consumes a lot of
That
energy.
makes sense.
So yeah, generally you would do one feature and then ride it, connect it to the takeoff of the next feature. Yeah, demo is a good North Star bike. Although I think I like the status at North Star a little bit better.
What?
Get to hop through the rocks more.
Yeah, for the folks that are listening in that don't know the difference between the demo and the other bike, is one like a full downhill, the other one's like a big enduro, or what's the difference there?
Yep. So the demo is a downhill bike, 200 millimeters of travel front and back. And the way I ride it is mullet, 29 up front, 27.5 in back. The status, it comes 180 up front, 170 in the back. So it's a smaller bike and the geometry is just a lot different. The wheelbase is a lot shorter. So it's shorter overall. And then the rear end, so the chainstay length, the length between the bottom bracket and the rear axle is much, much shorter than the demo. And my theory is that's why there's not as much brake control. Um,
Interesting.
but it's just my theory. I don't know. Maybe some
Yeah.
engineers out there could tell me.
Gosh, I don't know. We'll take it from the writer herself who's in the trenches. So yes. Yeah, engineers can tell us from a desk, but yeah, Chelsea on the side of a cliff. I'll take that. I'll take that skill word any day. So okay, so I didn't realize that. So yeah, a lot of the writers put it together the day of the competition. Teddy Parker's saying you section it like trials riding, not worth it to risk a full run as long as you tick features. Oh,
Yeah,
interesting. Okay.
that is,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that's how trials was. But yeah, that is kind of the theory. And maybe I should have stuck with that. I question that a lot. Like maybe I shouldn't have done that top to bottom run because I didn't crash on it and then I crashed in my competition run.
Yeah, yeah. Well, here's
So,
something like okay, so when you're piecing it together, when you're rolling through, like every day is different. The winds out there seem to be a big challenge that not you can't really tell on television, but it definitely affects all the riders. Did you have any wind issues when you were rolling through or the morning of doing the top to bottom?
yeah, the morning of the competition was the windiest. It was the windiest day out of the
Ah,
entire time that we were out there.
God damn
Um,
it.
Definitely the windiest day. Like, oh, so for the men too. Like, I don't understand. If you hold an event, then it's going to be bad weather.
Right?
But yeah, all the dig days, it was windy until like 10:30 a.m. and then the wind would just stop for some
Wow.
reason.
Wow.
But for the competition day, they kept postponing it. They had, uh, yeah, practice was supposed to start it like at sunrise. You could practice, and then first rider was supposed to drop at like 10:30 for the competition run. And instead, we were up there waiting for practice, waiting for a good wind window to practice until like
Jeez.
noon.
Jeez. That's a
No,
big delay.
it was
Just
so
sitting up
bad.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow. That would get your nerves going. I'm sure everybody's nerves are just like on edge, just waiting to drop because like you have all this energy built into this moment and then
Yep.
you're on hold.
But not everybody was at the top. I think it was me, Casey Brown, Via, and Robin were at the top. Uh, the rest of the girls were down lower on the mountain. They were going to practice other stuff, but like we were all in the same situation. We just had to wait out the wind. And then
Wow.
we were in contact with all the event organizers, being like, well, we're not willing to drop in this wind. So, like, we got to wait.
Yeah, no, that's safe. That's definitely safe, especially with those large drops. I mean, the wind can push you if it's a crosswind, it could push you guys so far, tilt the bike in the air. You never know what's going to happen.
Yep.
Um, when you finally got to get up there for your first run, when you're getting ready to drop in, Can you remember like how that felt? Like, did your stomach feel like queasy, or were you locked and loaded? Because on television, you look so dialed. They had this like close up of your eyes in your full face, and you were mic'd up, and it was just like I know that Kim and I, my girlfriend and I, were like sitting on the couch, and we're just like screaming our heads off. We're like, "Let's go, let's go!" But how did you feel inside? What was going on in there?
Yeah, so really, I felt locked and loaded. I tried, I didn't, they had a screen up there because I was the last one to drop. They had a screen up there that we could watch the other riders' runs.
Sick.
And I think most of the girls were watching. I watched like the first two, and then after that, I was just by myself. And I tried to just keep mentally going over my run in my head so that there was no space for anything else to creep in. I just wanted to be really focused on what I had to do and nothing else. Because I felt like that was a good way to avoid the fear and avoid distraction and everything like that.
Yeah, focused. Heck yeah. I love it. I love it. And you look like it too. You look focused. Like, I don't know how close the camera was, but they must have been zooming in on you because like the focus that you had in your eyes were just like laser focused. And you were mic'd up. And there was like on both runs, you let out like a you or a something happened right before you dropped in. Like, is that a something that's like a part of what you do? Is it a traditional thing? I noticed it twice.
It's something that I've learned to do.
Okay.
Just like in when you're nervous or stressed or anything, somebody told me to do it. I think at Desert Days last year, they were like, "Yeah, I like to just like let out something like a woohoo
Yeah.
or something before I drop in, just to like change the nerves." It's like
Yes.
if you're really tense, I think smiling would do the same thing, or just something different to like make your body like, because it is fun. It's riding. It's like what we love to do. So it's
Yeah.
like a reminder of that.
So sick. I love it. Flipping the switch on that, you know?
Yep.
But yeah. So as you're dropping in, I do have this pulled up. If anybody wants to and they're listening in on iTunes and Spotify or here on YouTube, Chelsea did do a walkthrough, talk through on her YouTube channel. You can check it out where she walks through it. But um I wonder if I can play this. Chelsea, I wonder if I can play this on mute while we talk through it.
Hmm.
Let's see. Let me Okay, so I'm gonna cut that. Can you see? Okay. So you're at the top and you're getting ready to drop it. You're the only one up there. You can
Yeah.
tell you're
Oh
so excited.
no, Robin was up there.
Oh, Robin was up there. Okay, she
Robin
was
was up there.
what would it did this feel like a practice run or did you like were you locked in competition run like
So for this, and this is the first run.
yes.
Um, yeah, I guess it felt like the practice run. Um, yeah, I it felt so good. I was like I loved my line. I was having fun, and it felt so good. And and then I messed up.
Yeah.
uh,
Before the mess up, is this coming back here? Is this that step up you were talking about? You're coming around that corner. Let's
yes.
see. Yes. Was that good Lord? Is that now?
So
Was that
that's
for
the drop that was 40 feet that we made into a 20-foot drop.
okay, got
Long,
it.
steep double drop landing. And then
Okay.
this corner, like we moved so much dirt and rock for that corner. And then I go down into the wash here. And then this step up, like, was just such a nice lip.
That
Um,
looked fun.
oh, yeah. I hope to have a canning gap there next year.
Phew.
But yeah,
Chelsea.
this section of trail was really fun. It was just kind of like flowy down the ridge. And I just tried to stay loose before the next section. And then I think what I did here, I think I swung out too wide.
Okay.
The guy that's there in the video, the guy with the like camera or whatever, he gave me his video.
Okay.
And a lot of people's theory was that I crashed because of him because he was like right at the edge of my line. But I don't think I crashed because of him. But Yeah, I think I swung a little too wide just so I wasn't really, I was like, because that drop is super, super technical. It's like,
Yeah.
I roll across the takeoff of Robin and George's drop. And it's
Okay.
like you roll down just a touch and then you pull up, plop, drop to a landing that's like, it's less than a bike length of landing, really. And then I
Wow.
have to pretty much land in the turn and turn right.
I see it
Um,
right there. Yeah.
and I think I swung a little too wide on the takeoff and I took off facing a little too far left and it just made the corner not work.
Got it. Got it. That like when I watched it, I think there was footage from the drone that was behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of felt like what the other people were saying too, that my eyes went to the cameraman. I think was he wearing a white shirt or something?
No, he's wearing all black.
Oh God, see? Yeah, that was wrong.
I remember.
Yes. But yeah, like it almost looked like your line went straight to that person there.
Yeah.
But you're thinking that maybe it just you swung out a little bit too wide to the left.
I think I took off too far left. I don't think him being there helped me because, yeah, I
Okay.
do remember seeing him immediately and not wanting to crash into him.
Yeah.
Maybe if he wasn't there, I could have like rolled over the berm and still made the corner.
Makes
Um,
sense.
but I don't know. This is all like I crashed. I messed up. I didn't do that in practice.
Right.
Um,
But then in practice there wasn't anybody there, correct? Like there was no I
yeah.
mean, well, I don't want to blame it on the guy. It's a lot to put on, but if if you probably hit that in practice like nothing, I'm guessing.
Yep. I did something similar one time in practice. I didn't crash though. I just like went offline and stopped one time
Okay.
in practice. Every other time I hit the drop perfect. I don't know. It's just the way that it is. Next year, I think I want to do something totally different there. Erase that from my
Yeah,
line.
right. Well, I mean, it seems very much along with your story. Like these little curveballs are actually pieces of fuel that is going to like make the next event something extremely special. And I know a lot of people. Obviously, you have the talent for it, Chelsea, and I'm sure a lot of the other riders are like, if she does a clean top to bottom, we're going back up for run 2 because we'll have to. And I'm sure some of the girls were already hiking up as you were dropping in. They're probably like, "Whoop, I better go."
No, Robin. That's why Robin hiked up, because of that. She knew because she put a foot down in her run, and she thought that if I got a clean run, then it may knock her out of first place. So she went back up because I did, but the rest of the girls had called it. Um, and it's probably good. Like it was so windy for that second run. It was so windy. So it's crazy. Leading up to Rampage, I had thought about that so much. Like, what would it feel like if I'm at the drop-in for Rampage and it's windy? Like,
Yes.
in my mind, that was like the worst situation ever because I don't want to ride in the wind.
Yes.
But then the situation happened where went up for my second run and it was windy
Oh,
and
gosh.
it wasn't like that, oh, I don't want to do my run in the wind. Instead it was, I want to do my run, the wind better stop. Like, it was totally different. All I wanted was to do a clean run. Like I wanted it so bad. And like it's crazy, like the mentality, how it was so different than what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Like totally opposite. It was like I just want it so bad. Like I don't care about, of
Dang.
course I care about the wind. If it was that bad, I wouldn't have dropped.
Yeah.
But it was like just below the line of that bad.
Oh my gosh, Chelsea. Yeah. I mean, the hunger for that's I could see like in run 2. I know in that video it doesn't show run 2, but in run 2 at that same location, the camera kind of like after that second crash, they panned away, and we were like, "No, don't pan away!" Like we wanted to see Chelsea finish the run, but were the winds so bad that you just called it at run 2 at that spot?
Yeah, on run 2, the wind is why I crashed on that drop. because it
Oh,
swung my bike enough sideways that I
okay.
like, because if you notice, I didn't crash the same way. I
Yes.
crashed like to the right because it tipped my bike over, and I had
Holy
to put a
shit.
foot out and I crashed that way. So
Holy
like
shit.
in reality, like I'm really thankful that I crashed on that small drop, because if I got down to that bigger drop,
Yeah,
then a crash on the big drop would be really, really bad.
that would have been bad. And I
So
still like on the first run, going back to the first run, actually, I need to let that play out because that was sick. I love that you just got up and basically from there was like, we're going to straight up send the big drop right now and stomped it. I'm just going to fast forward over to it right here. Yeah, this is the part I was actually talking about earlier. When you're walking down, I noticed how mindful you were about not putting tracks on the landing. Look at that. For the folks that are watching, Chelsea's going down the side and then like, nope, I'm gonna go further down and get to that safe spot. And then you grab your bike. And at this point where like you had the crash, were you feeling that in your gut like, damn it, this sucks? Or were you like, all right, now it's just we're gonna get down, have fun, and then we're gonna get back up for run 2?
yeah, all of the above. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened. But
Oh
also
man.
like, I got to get to the bottom, and this drop is definitely the best way down.
Yeah.
Like at that point, like after the last day of practice and the morning practice, like I was pretty comfortable on that drop. My speed had been super consistent, and like, dare I say, the drop was really fun. Like,
Wow.
so at that point, I was like, yeah, let's hit it. The
Woo!
wind is good.
Chelsea
This is nuts.
freaking killed that. Oh,
Mark.
then throws of Suey. Yes.
I'm so into this story, and so are you, but we've got about 5 minutes.
Okay, this is okay. Good. Thank you, Joey. I appreciate it. Insane, Chelsea. I love how you just got back on it and stomped it. And I think that's one of the reasons why, like, fan favorite. We were just like loving your spirit, loving everything about that run, and how the Indiana Jones style is what I say when I talk about it. How you grabbed onto that rock and just held on. It was so cool looking from that view with like the dust and everything in the air. I'm like, hell yeah, that's American Rider Chelsea Kimball. Let's go.
Oh man, I wanted a suey on that drop.
Yes.
But
On the drop.
next year.
Oh my God, Chelsea, good God. A couple questions here for you real quick, and then I know we got to
I'll be
get you
done.
out of there.
Thank you.
Here's one here. Empty Machine Queen, having a person so close there probably caused a glitch in your brain. You're processing so much so fast on that run and then have to put in extra computing with the person so close to your line. Yes, I totally agree with that.
It sucks, but in the end, I messed up.
Oh.
And I just got to do better next year.
And yeah, I can't wait for that next year. Women's MTB Network says, I couldn't walk down the side of the cliffs. I was literally sliding on my butt. It's so steep.
It is so steep.
Yes. Bikes, Brews, and Base Camp. Maggie says, what's one trick or skill you're currently working on, Chelsea, or that's on your bucket list?
Currently still working on backflips. Like, I don't have them super dialed, so that's still on the top of the list. Flat spins, top of the list. And then I've been practicing hop 180s on the ground as like a progression to doing 360s.
Sick.
Yeah.
Chelsea, I know they're closing up the studio that you're at right there. I can hear them. I know we got to let you get out of there. It's been such a pleasure having you on the Segment Podcast. Thank you so much. I hope to have you back soon, which would be awesome, talking about the property, and then again with Redbull Rampage next year. Are you locked in for next year, or do you have to wait for another invite?
I don't have to wait for an invite. I have to submit for an invite. It's only the top 4 riders that get automatically qualified for next year. So I'm planning to make a Rampage entry edit in March, and then fingers crossed they let me back in.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We've got a fingers crossed point.
Thank you for having me, and thanks so much for voting for me for People's Choice. It was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah. That was awesome. We loved it. We loved everything you're doing. We're big fans over here. And Chelsea, for the folks out there listening, whatever country they're downloading this podcast in, where can they follow your story? Where can they find you on social media?
So yeah, social media, mostly I just use Instagram, and my Instagram is Chelsea Sends It. And then yeah, I'm with my property, I'm thinking about trying to start more YouTube video kind of stuff, like involving my property, because I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff by hand, building with natural wood and doing a whole
Shoo.
bunch of like cool stuff along with building jumps. So yeah, my YouTube is, I think it's Chelsea Sends It as well. Maybe I
Chelsea.
actually don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
there it is. Chelsea
but
Kimball. Chelsea Kimball Productions. Chelsea Sends It.
there we go.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's me.
That is awesome. I can't wait. And then make room for us. We want to come up and check it out and help out. So we'll try to get up there as well. And it's going to be fun. Ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea Kimball. Chelsea Sends It. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you on the next one, episode 166.